We've got ourselves a TVP on Nightshade. You know what I just read? Starcraft has actually been in outer space. An astronaut named Daniel Barry took a copy up with him to the International Space Station. It orbited the world 153 times. My copy's yet to make it out of my basement. I wonder what the lag is like on the moon. Oh, the initial pylon was off by 1 square and he had to remake it. Better get on with the intros. Team Liquid's newest acquisition, Liquid Clem! Aligulac now has Clem ranked an astounding 7th in the world. I know this kid is good, but wow, he's top 10 now. Our Protoss player is a computer-animated wuxia comedy film distributed by Paramount Pictures. He is GunGFuBanDa. Of course, he's actually Fabian Mayer, the German Protoss player, playing for Team Cascade. And after GunGFu drops that gateway, he's going to use his probe to check for proxies. We don't see that nearly enough. Clem, however, is not rushing. He's putting 3 SCVs on his first refinery, which is consistent with his favored Reaper expand build. Only 1 probe collecting gas for GunGFu. He's still gobbling up minerals because he wants to drop that Nexus and core. Here comes everybody's favorite polygon. GunGFu's making me happy by not making his core part of his wallet as natural. He's using it instead for a Reaper block. That's the state of Protoss SimCity right now. Almost every building has to have a second function, even if it's just vision. And Clem started his natural. It's direct, right on the low ground. His Reaper's already well underway. GunGFuBanDa's been around a long time, but he really came out of nowhere within the last year. Aligulac now ranks him 30, and he's got no significant tournament wins that I'm aware of. But all of a sudden, he's everywhere. He's been getting out of groups and taking names. Look out for this guy. Clem's SCV is going to scout up here, and he's going to see, hey, I can get a Reaper up in here. GunGFu has yet to make a unit, and there's nothing blocking that ramp. The Protoss core completes, and GunGFu immediately starts chrono boosting an Adept. He knows what's coming, and it's not good. Even with just a single Reaper, Clem can be a demon. Oh yeah, he's going straight for the main. GunGFu needs that Adept yesterday. There's about to be fire in the hole! Ooh, called that one! The Adept is here. Clem immediately snipes a weekend probe. He does that so fast. Usually an Adept has no trouble hunting down a single Reaper. But this is a Clem Reaper. He might even escape. Oh no, here comes the Shade. He makes it to the ramp, and he's actively healing while retreating. Combat drugs. They're insane. Are those drugs in your locker, son? They're combat drugs, sir. Oh, okay then. Hey, where's that mule going? Strange. I guess he just kind of came off to die there. Clem's mixing up things here too. It's still a 1-1-1 build, but Clem's got reactored Marines instead of reactored Hellions. All early signs point to bio for our Terran player. Though he is going to squeeze out a single Hellion and then start a tech lab on that factory. Oh, Reaper's coming back to try to pull off a second scout. But there's a Stalker guarding the ramp now. And there's a Reaper wall in place. That doesn't stop him from seeing the Robo though. Clem now knows the Protoss tech choice. It's kinda nice not to have to worry about an Oracle. That Robo completes and GunGFu starts up an Observer. It's rallied directly to the Terran base, where we see the factory donated his tech lab to the starport and is now making another one of his own, while the original Rax continues to pump reactored Marines. This is getting very interesting. The Reaper and the Hellion are gonna camp out at the Protoss 3rd. GunGFu's ahead by 5 workers. But thanks to the Terran Mule, they're pretty even, Steven. Except for the fact that Clem's just started his 3rd command center, which is going to let him catch up rather quickly. GunGFu going for a 2nd Observer. He really doesn't have much of an army at this point. Reaper's going to try and sneak in again and see what's coming out of that Robo. The Stalker and the Adept say, hey, no previews. Oh, the Adept's going to have a second chance to chase down that Reaper. He remembers when he got away before it. Oh! The Adept gets him this time, but Clem almost escaped again by using that KD-8 charge. He's got to be among one of the very best with that. And now that the Scout is gone, we see Protoss's real tech. A robotics bay. We're looking at Colossus or Disruptors. GunGFu probably makes that choice after his hallucinated Phoenix sees a ton of Marines. Oh, look at this. A Raven hunting down an Observer. Is he going to get it? Yes! Auto turret for the win. GunGFu's going to start his 3rd. While the players discuss the range of the auto turret, which has been the subject of a number of patches. Always blows my mind how people can type, talk, and play at the same time. GunGFu's gonna send up his lone adept for some more scouting info. And he's stashing a lone probe in the south for some reason that I can't quite figure out. Clem's still scouting with that lone Hellion. It's gonna be a ships passing in the night thing for the Hellion and the adept. They're probably both checking the timing on each other's third. That probe's planning an extra pylon for vision. For drop detection, most likely. And the Hellion spots the timing on the third, and what's more, he's gonna get a free drive right into the main. GunGFu's gonna warp in a Stalker to try to stop it, but he's gonna get some shots off on the mineral line. GunGFu pulls his probes to counterattack. Cool! I mean, technically, the Stalker was credited with the kill, but I think we know who really did the job there. Clem's learned he's a little bit behind, so he's gonna get his third out. He's choosing the downward location as opposed to the crossward one. GunGFu's adept is well positioned to see this, but can she get out alive? Meanwhile, back at the Protoss ranch, GunGFu starts up the ranged upgrade for the Colossus. His first Colossus is already done and a second is on the way. He's also started the Twilight Council. Meanwhile, Clem is going to land that third base. With his double tech labs, he's got stim and combat shields coming up at the exact same time, and he's also researching +1 attack and +1 armor out of double eBays. Clem is most likely hunting for a 1-1 marine timing, with a couple of tanks sprinkled in. That factory keeps making add-ons and donating them. Gateway explosion for Protoss! That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 9. That's a lot of gates. Somebody thinks he's got the economy to back that up. GunGFu still doesn't have much of an army, but holy smokes, he'll be able to catch up fast. He's also halfway to +1 attack. He's only single forged though. Clem's got double eBays. But GunGFu is researching the Zealot leg upgrade. That's going to help him out. Look at all these vision pylons he's stashing around the map. Okay, this last one has some potential as a forward attack pylon. Oh, Stim's about to complete, so of course Clem's choosing that moment to attack. Here comes the Marine Horde. That incredibly useful adept's gonna see it. And she's gonna get out of there too. GunGFu's rushing up to meet it with his ranged Colossi. Oh! Double scorching rays! He cuts that Marine count right down. And then he smartly pulls back to defend his base. Clem's forced to drop a scan in order to see where the Protoss army is as it hides up the high ground. GunGFu's gonna split his army so he can guard his natural and his third, but the deep pullback means Clem's tanks are gonna get position. Clem's totally started building reactive Vikings. His Marines just have no answer to those ranged Colossi. Only the tanks are keeping GunGFu back. Oh, GunGFu's warping in Zealots off his northerly pylon. A 5 Zealot hit squad. Has Clem left enough at home? GunGFu's gonna sack one of his gates to buy time. But Clem's just completing upgrade after upgrade here. This game is incredibly even right now. Equal armies, equal economies. Oh, those speed lots are unopposed and they're going into the natural. The tanks obliterate the gateway. And that's GunGFu's signal to attack. He attacks from both sides. He's going after the siege tanks. He gets them. And the sentry shields scissor off a section of Terran units. And they are earmarked for destruction. Meanwhile, Clem's lost 15 SCVs. Only now is he able to focus on the cleanup. That is a huge amount of economic damage. That run-by was highly successful. And now comes the Protoss counterattack. Does Clem have enough to hold this? Oh yes, his Vikings are here now. GunGFu started up a warp prism, by the way. And he's making a second forge to catch up on upgrades. The Protoss is going to try to poke in again. Nope. He thinks better of it. But maybe all he's doing is faking the attack while he expands at his fourth. Yeah, there it is. Interesting note that GunGFu is also switching over to disruptors. That means if Clem overinvests in the Vikings he desperately needs, he'll get rid of the Colossi but have no effective answer to the Protoss army. Speaking of disruptors, GunGFu just put his in front. I think he's going for a disruptor shot here. There it is! Oh! I think that was 3 Marauders and 2 Marines with a single hit. Oh, that was outrageous! Before Terran can expand to his 4th base, he's going to need to clear out that pesky block pylon. Meanwhile, GunGFu's using his forward pylon to warp in another 6 Zealots. No doubt the plan is for a future run-by at Terran's future 4th. Yeah, he's pulling them back. He's waiting for the right moment. Such as when the Terran army departs, maybe. Meanwhile, the Protoss 4 is about to complete. GunGFu's gonna celebrate by killing the rocks. He wants to make it as easy as possible for his Colossi to maneuver. I see, Protoss is setting up for a three-pronged attack. His main force, a warp prism in the west, and zealots to the east. Here it comes! Can Clem perform a triple hold? For the moment, Protoss has an attack upgrade advantage. The main force attacks the third. The Vikings respond. The zealot hit squad hits the fourth, and there's a second squad of zealots warping into the main. Oh, it might be power overwhelming. This is a lot of Protoss. The third orbital's getting run over like a speed bump. Clem's gonna wish that was a fortress. Oh, Clem gets the warp prism. That's huge. And the Vikings are eliminating the Colossi. And Clem's saving his orbital. Liberators are here, and GunGFu is pulling back. But with 21 SCV kills, he might have got enough done to have done the job. 2-2 is now finished for Clem, but he does have a significant supply deficit. GunGFu is now mining about a third more. And it's a big lead for GunGFu on the Resources Lost tab. And he's going to respond by adding 4 more gateways. That's going to take him up to 12. And he's also adding a Dark Shrine. Perhaps not coincidentally, there's a replacement warp prism headed up for the Terran main. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a standoff going outside the Terran base. The liberation zones mean Protoss can't get in. The disruptor blasts mean Terran can't get out. But that warp prism's not going to have a problem slipping in. Clem's depot is going to give him vision of that warp in. There's 2 DTs mixed in there. Does he have detection? His Raven's gone. He's going to need a scan. Clem still hasn't fully replenished his workers from the last assault. He can't afford the onrushing SCV damage. Oh, and GunGFu threatens to poke in again. GG, it's all just too much. Clem throws in the towel. Gotta say, that was a fun one. Big upset for GunGFuBanDa. It was a rocky start for him when he decided he didn't like the opening placement of his initial pylon. I get it now, though. GunGFu needs his pylon in that exact spot so he can put down a gateway and core to block the Reaper entryway to the main. Seems like a weird choice, given that the ramp is wide open, but eventually that gets covered by a stalker. I was with him at the time, but what I didn't get is why go to all the effort to block the Reaper and then show him your robo facility by powering it off of this exact same pylon. Once the Reaper jumps up, he can see it. It didn't make sense. But like most weird things in this game, I suspect it was very likely deliberate. GunGFu wanted Clem to keep coming back, only to find he was making nothing more than observers. As soon as the scout was killed by the Adept, boom! In comes the Colossus with the Robo Bay for the range upgrade. Clem didn't have Vikings in the initial assault to deal with the Colossus, and his Mass Marine Stim 1-1 timing got scorched. That put him on the back foot, made much worse by a Zealot run-by that was way too successful. Now Clem's behind when GunGFuBanDa hits with the 3-way assault, and it was a beauty. Maybe he gets back into this. But once he sees that GunGFu can warp Dark Templar into his base at will, it's time to tap out. All around, cool game. So even though I don't always get around to saying it these days, please remember to live life, because nobody wants to die in hold position. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.